코로나 후 여행 산업의 전망부터 새로운 여행 플랫폼의 이야기, 다양한 구글 맵스 플랫폼 활용 사례 등 재미있고 알찬 내용이 준비되어 있으니 끝까지 함께 해주세요. 본격적인 웨비나를 시작하기에 앞서 구글 노스아시아 리저널 매니저 사무엘의 웨비너 환영인사가 있겠습니다.
Great. Yes, thank you so much, young man, for the introduction. And I love the video. I cannot wait to be in Korea soon and be able to experience the food and all the restaurants that you've shown there. First of all, I want to apologize for doing this in English. So for those of you that I haven't met yet, my name is Samuel. I lead the Google Maps platform team for North Asia and Japan. So North Asia is China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and of course, South Korea, and Japan is Japan. Now, I've been in this team for more than a year now, and we've been working very, very closely with SPH on the South Korean market. And so I'm very excited that SPH is doing this webinar because they are our #1 partner in South Korea, and they handle some of the largest Korean companies. And so they have the expertise and the knowledge when it comes to anything related to geolocation and geoservices. Now, before I give them, the prime time and let them do the presentation, I just want to say, two key things. The first one related to Google Maps platform. So some of you may not be fully aware because Google Maps is not fully operating in Korea at the moment, but Google Maps is by far the largest mapping service across the world. We have more than 1 billion monthly active users. We have millions and millions of local guides that add information all the time. And so the minute you step outside of South Korea, as I'm sure you know, Google Maps is the go-to place when it comes to understanding the world. And so for all of you in this call that are trying to expand overseas, expand outside of South Korea, which so many Korean companies are doing at the moment. If you just look at the list of startups coming from South Korea and now expanding abroad, Naver, Kakao, Coupang, and so many more, all of them have an international strategy. And so I think this is where SPH and Google Maps platform really come in. When you're trying to export abroad, I think we're really a must or a go-to platform when it comes to going overseas. And then when we look at South Korea specifically, as I said, we're very excited about the tech scene. I think there are more than 11 unicorns now coming from South Korea, and that number is growing. And this shows that it's a very, very healthy tech and company ecosystem right now in South Korea. And so we want to make sure we enable all of those companies to go abroad. The second thing we're seeing, of course, is that the very large Korean companies and conglomerates are also actively pursuing an international strategy. And so we're very happy and very excited to be able to help them do so. And we're going to keep on doing this together with SPH. So that's my first point. My second point is regarding travel and tourism. We know for a fact that the coronavirus pandemic has really impacted the travel industry. Travel has almost halted for the past 1.5 years. But we've seen two very interesting trends. The first one is using maps technology for showing local businesses and local things to do. And so we've seen many governments and companies building ways for their own citizens to travel inside their own country. And that has been a key trend. As an example, in Japan, the government had launched last year a campaign called Go To campaign, which was giving coupons to their citizens to be able to travel inside Japan and explore their home country. Similarly, we've seen local maps being built to locate vaccine centers, what we call vaccine locators. And so we've seen this across Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, the US, and many other countries in Europe, where the government or private companies have given citizen access to map of where all the vaccine centers were located. And of course, this has been a great honor for the Google Maps team to be able to help the community get vaccinated quicker. The second trend we're seeing is that as some countries are starting to reopen their borders, and it is still tricky in Asia, I will give you that, but in places like Europe, things are slowly reopening. And so we're seeing travel companies investing in what's going to happen post-corona. So borders starting to reopen, more people looking to travel after such a long time being confined. And so we do expect a big bump in travel when, of course, the virus has been fully contained. And when that happens, I think, for this group that's attending the webinar today, it's very important that you are there for them, but you are not there with the information that was important before the virus. I think what's important now is to be able to show your potential customers how you are a safe location to go to, how you are a safe hotel, how you are a safe airline, how you are a safe travel destination, how you're a safe restaurant. So I think the requirements for the travel industry post-corona is going to be much stricter in terms of the quality of the information you're going to be able to give to your potential customers versus prior. And so what we urge you to do, both SPH and ourselves, is to think about what that future will look like and to be able to give proactively secure, safe, rich information to your customers when they're going to be looking for their first travel post-pandemic. And I think this is where Google Maps platform can really help to be able to display in a very clear way all the information that customers need to know when they're going to be traveling abroad. So just as a reminder, all the top travel companies in the world are leveraging Google Maps platform, being Booking.com or Expedia or the top airlines like Emirates. All of them are using Google Maps platform one way or the other. And so we really are hoping and expecting that the top Korean travel companies, restaurant, anything related to tourism and travel, any companies in that industry would also leverage Google Maps platform to give their users a better user experience. Now, one last word is to say that, as you can clearly see, I don't speak Korean, and I right now cannot travel to Korea, even though I manage this region. So we fully rely and have this very strong partnership with SPH, and they are not only locally based and understand the local language and can support you locally, but they have a very, very deep and long expertise when it comes to Google Maps technology. And so we fully rely on them to be able to give you the best support, the best prices, the best access to new features. So a big thank you to SPH for organizing this webinar today.